Hello, fellow entrepreneurs. Welcome aboard as we journey to the promised land. I am your coach, Oliswa Moraka, the Purposeful Entrepreneur. I am also the founder of Collab for Growth, a personal mastery and an SMME venture building consultancy that supports entrepreneurs to lead purposeful lives and build businesses that matter. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about the 7 stages of your entrepreneurial life cycle, or the 7 stages of your business life cycle. The first stage of your journey as an entrepreneur is the ideation stage. This is the stage when you have your big idea. Nothing is on paper. You haven't written a business plan. You haven't written a concept. You just have your big business idea. What you need to do at this stage is put your idea down. Caution, do not wake up and go and register a company. Because registering a company doesn't mean you are an entrepreneur, doesn't mean that you are in business. Hold off in registering companies because there's so many CIPC companies that are registered but are dormant. So stop registering because you will incur costs that you don't necessarily need to incur at ideation stage. What you need to do here is put your idea down. Write it down as in a document, in a piece of paper, in a napkin, whatever it is that will help you just unpack your business idea to build a concept. One, what will help you at ideation stage is to think about the problem, think about who is experiencing the problem, think about what you are offering as a solution to the problem. Put that concept down. Once you've done that, you move now to the next stage of your entrepreneurial journey, which we call the validation stage. Now that you've taken your idea from your head to paper, you want to go out and validate that indeed the opportunity or the gap that you've identified exists. So there is a market that is facing this problem, both from a user perspective and from a customer perspective, that is experiencing the problem that you have identified. 2, you also want to validate that they are willing and able to pay you to solve this problem, because there's no point in building a business or creating products and services for people that either don't have the money or do not want the product or service that you have created. So you want to validate that there's a problem worth solving. You also want to validate that there is a market willing and able to purchase the product and services that you have created to solve their specific problem. Thirdly, you want to validate the business model. So how are you going to make money from this business? How are you going to market this business? How are you going to attract the customers and the partners that you need to work with in this business? So that's what we call stage 2, the validation stage. In this particular stage, my recommendation normally is to say, use the first 3 to 6 months of your journey trying to validate the opportunity, trying to validate that this is a business worth pursuing. If you are employed, remain in your job. You really do not need to quit your job when you are just validating whether or not there's an opportunity. Remain in your job, run your 9 to 5, and use your business as an asset, as your first investor, or use your job, as your first investor in the company, because the salary that you earn, you can take a portion of it and start buying things or building products or services with little money that you have to test and validate that there's an opportunity worth pursuing. In this case, we call it fail fast, fail quickly, fail cheaply. Again, don't quit your job. The third phase of your journey is what we call the startup phase. Now that you have validated that there's an opportunity worth pursuing, you now want to begin with the formalization of your business. That's when you start thinking about registering your company, because now you have proven that there's an opportunity, there's a market, and there's a viable business model that you can pursue. Startup phase now is setting things in place. You start registering your company, making sure that you've got all the legal paperwork to run a business in your particular country. You start thinking about systems that you need to put in place to ensure that the business can run smoothly and effectively to generate the profits that you want or you desire from this business. You start thinking and now measuring the results that you're getting in terms of customers, in terms of the reach where your business is operating and who is buying. So you start measuring those results to understand what values really is it that you are creating. Because you might start with 3 products, but you find that one product is going and growing in the market. So you want to amplify that and you want to look at the other products and say, do I need to dump these products or do I need to change my strategy? In this stage, you want to say, do I need to pivot? Do I need to carry on with this business or do I want to dump this business because it doesn't work? And in the startup phase, I want to remind you that it can take a bit of time. So it's not a quick fix. Some businesses can take up to 3 years to start seeing the returns and the value of their business. So this is a value validation stage, if you would, right? You are trying to find out whether or not your business can sustain and can grow. So up to 3 years, more or less. So, and that's why you see most support ventures or businesses, they would say, funders would say, have you been operating for 3 years? Because it is considered the time in which you test your viability. Again, you must also remember that in this particular phase, a lot of businesses fail. Research says about 80% of businesses will fail within the first 3 years. So keep that in mind. Again, my advice is don't quit your day job. If you have a day job, use it as an asset to invest in your business. It will take away the pressure of trying to survive whilst also building a successful businesses, because trying to survive and also trying to be creative in the business can take so much when you don't have a source of income somehow. So stay in your job when you're still in the startup phase. That's my opinion, but people have different opinions. I'm just sharing my experience of working with hundreds of entrepreneurs and the struggles they find when they are trying to put food on the table and they're also trying to build a viable business. The next stage is the survivalist stage. A lot of us are in the survivalist stage as entrepreneurs. And this is a stage where you have been running your business for a couple of years, but really it's not hitting the mark. It's not growing. So you've not transitioned to the growth phase. Probably I've met entrepreneurs who've been running their businesses for 20 years. They are still in the same place where they started. They have a few customers. They are just making money that sustains themselves, but it's not really blowing anything away, so, but they desire to go to the next phase. So survivalist is just having an operational business, but that's generating the bare minimum of it, and what you want to do in this phase is that you want to review your business again. You want to go back and understand or reflect on your why. Why did I start this business? What was my intention? What growth ambitions did I have in my business and where am I? And once you've done that, you then have to say, what do I need to do now to restructure? So you want some kind of a turnaround strategy to help you get to the next level, because you can't be operating a business that's not moving forward for a couple of years. And that's where you bring in, maybe if you can, some people, some advisors that can help you turn things around, some people that can help you shape your business and re-engineer it for growth. A lot of us are stuck in the survivalist phase. And as Collab for Growth, our sweet spot is really working with entrepreneurs that are either starting out, they have an idea, and we help them move to market. So we work with you, we journey with you from idea to market, and we also work quite well with entrepreneurs in the survivalist space, because now we help them to unpack their business, we help them to unpack their strategy and build a viable strategy that can help them transition into growth phase, from survivalist to growth phase. The next phase is the growth phase. The growth phase, how you measure whether or not you're in the growth phase, is that you need to look at your business performance for the last 3 years. There's a number of things that you need to look at. You need to look at your revenue. You need to look at the employee count growth, whether you've grown in terms of people. You need to look at the systems that you have, what type of systems you've you've put in place and the growth in your assets of your business. So there's a number of things that you need to look at and say, definitely there's a curve of growth that shows that my business is definitely growing in the right direction. And that's what we all desire to get into. But a lot of us struggle to transition from survivalist to growth phase. The next phase after growth phase is the mature phase. I call this phase the corporate phase. And this is where the business now runs without you. It runs like a corporate business. It has processes, it has systems. It literally runs like a machine. You do not need to be running anything. You do not need to be handling anything in the business. The business can run. It can build your legacy that you want. It can build the lifestyle that you want. And you don't even need to lift a finger in operating it. There's so many corporates. You've worked in a corporate maybe before. I've worked in a corporate before. I do not know the founder of that corporate, but the business still runs and it still exists today. And that's what a mature business looks like. In the decline phase is when you have been a mature business and you lost market somehow, or you lost the business. And there's so many businesses that have gone obsolete from being big to being non-existent. I do not want to use names in this particular episode, but just think about different cell phones. There's a particular cell phone that we used to use, and we used to buy BIS for 60 Rand at some point in our lives, and everybody wanted that particular brand. Where are they today? You can think about a camera company that had the digital market. Where are they today? In terms of the camera industry. In this stage, when you're at decline phase, the options are really simple. Sell the business, die, or innovate. When you're at decline stage, 3 options for you: sell, die, or decline, or innovate to stay in the game. Fellow entrepreneurs, I hope you have found value in this particular episode. From me to you, your coach, Purposeful. I look forward to the next session. Thank you.